It's the Doves.
That's nice. Oh, that's nice.
Versus the Vultures.
Oh, no.
It's time for 3 Up, 3 Down. This is the Sports Source.
This is the Sports Source, and it is 3 Up, 3 Down. It's brought to you by Parkside Cabin Rentals when it comes to rustic luxury in the Smokies. Visit parksidecabinrentals.com. You'll find that they have dozens of cabins for of all sizes, whether it's a couple, whether it's an entire family, or whether it's a couple of groups of families. They've got monster sizes to tiny sizes. Parkside Cabin Rentals, you'll love what you find. Check them out online. You can see all the layouts right there on their website. All right, want to welcome in our Doves for the day. VFL's Daniel Hood right there, and VFL's Sterling Hinton down there, looking very slick. That's very good. All right, we're in this segment. We talk about who played well, who didn't, and I will start with the ups. I always like to start on a positive note, end on a down note. Who was the third best player yesterday?
I think you got to start with your senior leader, it looks like right now, with Nigel Warrior. 10 tackles, 3 solo, 2 pass deflections, still making plays on special teams as well. I think it starts with the senior.
Yeah, and that's a guy who had taken a lot of heat.
A lot of heat.
So he had a good day yesterday. And Sterling,
He played against his family. He could have had the argument that I played good against you, bro.
how many cousins did he? I mean,
I thought it was 3, but we got one confirmed with Jake's son on the Georgia team. But I heard 3.
Okay. All right. Very good. Who is your number 3 down, gentlemen?
Bryce Thompson at cornerback. He started the year suspended. He hadn't really played that well, and then he got very fortunate, I thought, in the Georgia game when he took a swing at a guy. The referee was looking at it. I don't know how he didn't get a personal foul penalty or get ejected. He escaped that one, but he's got to maintain his poise and play with more maturity than that.
Also had a bad bust early on. Had his helmet come off twice, which the first time, buckle your chin strap. Oh, is it uncomfortable? You don't like it? Too bad. Buckle it up, or they take you out of the game for a play, which if that's the last play of the game and you can't be on the field, that'll cost you. Then it happened again, and at that point I'm thinking, well, that's not on Thompson. That's on Derek Ansley or Jeremy Pruitt. You don't have coaches who can say, chin strap, buckle it, moron. I just thought that was stupid.
Maybe he was playing with Antonio Brown's helmet.
I thought that was goofy. I thought that was that's an easily correctable mistake, and if it takes you off the field for a play, this team can't afford to have its best players off the field for a play. All right. Number 2 up, gentlemen.
I'm going with the 2 that I think are representing wide receiver you. Marquez Callaway and Juwan Jennings. I mean, they had an incredible game. And what the other part that you guys didn't see is how they were working off being the main receiver. They were running DBs off, getting involved with some blocks, trying to get some downfield blocks. Marquez Callaway, Juwan Jennings, incredible game yesterday.
I think it's also the first time that you've had 2 receivers over 100 yards this season.
Absolutely.
I can't remember the last time it's happened.
Well, Garantano has only thrown for 200-plus yards in a game 5 times in his career.
Wow.
And Maurer did it in the first half yesterday, and then wound up not doing much in the second half, but still, there's way. You're not going to have receivers with 100 yards receiving if you can't have a quarterback to give them the ball. Number 2 down, Vultures.
Oh, the punter. I mean, special teams you can look at in this game, they've been good all year. All of a sudden, you can't win that part of the game. When you have a chance to pin them down, you punt it for 13 yards. It can't happen. And that's the kind of thing that in a game, this team doesn't have enough talent to lose that. And you have to be good there. You have to be consistent there. And they just haven't been this year. In a game like this, up to this point, it's just kind of the thing you saw coming. We've been good there all year. We're in the game, and that group's going to fall apart. Sure enough, it did.
All right. What were you going to say?
They rotated the punters, what was it, against Florida? And you wonder about the mentality of them when you do that. Hey, if you have 2 punters, you don't have 1.
Yeah, it's the old saying. That's right. All right. Number 1 up, I'm guessing I know where you're going.
Yeah, got to go with your quarterback, Ryan Maurer, averaging over 9 yards an attempt yesterday. And I think the most important thing is you're starting to see big plays out of the offense with him at quarterback. We know the second half wasn't very good, but the entire Florida game, I think we had like 1 or 2 plays that you would classify as a big play, a run over 10 yards, pass over 15. Under Maurer yesterday in the first half, I think he had 7 or 8 just in a half. That's how you put points on the board and get wins.
He could also throw over the middle. I mean, that's what opened up yesterday. He had the release. He was releasing it fast enough where he wasn't getting caught. So getting it back over the middle, that was a part of the game that was kind of lost for Garantano.
Who was the number 1 down?
Darren Taylor, guy that comes in all SEC, He's got 1 sack on the year. I don't know how many pressures, but they're not very many.
Tennessee didn't even have a single quarterback pressure last night.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, that's
Against the best offensive line, or the best offensive line coach in the country.
Okay, so it doesn't count.
but it doesn't matter. I mean, you can get one quarterback pressure. I mean, that guy, quarterback Fromm, was playing flag football. You know, he wasn't worried about anything.
When you get to your fifth progression,
Yeah.
as was pointed out earlier. Yeah.
And I mean, we have no pass rush ability at this point. And the only 2 plays that I saw Terry made, he was unblocked. They just didn't block him. And so you can't have a guy that has this expectations, 8 sacks last year. You got to be able to beat a guy twice a game at least to get back there and put pressure on the quarterback. You can't have that many rushes and do absolutely nothing.
I remember the outside linebacker coach for the year, Chris Rump, said this is the money year for Darrell Taylor. Well, that money can go both ways.
Yeah.
And he has not performed like I thought he would.
Would the crowd get an up or a down? You had some players that credited them for being loud. It's on television. It sounded loud, but then you hear it's about 20,000 Georgia fans were there as well. It didn't sound loud in the second half. It sounded like half the stadium emptied. I don't know if it did or not, but crowd up, crowd down. Where are you?
A little bit of both, because I thought when Tennessee scored and they had the touchdown, 2 touchdowns, they're up 14-10, the crowd was really into it. I thought they were very loud. Even though Georgia had about 25,000 folks there, I thought that the crowd was into it. But, boy, when it went south, so did the fans. A lot of them left in the second half.
All right. Very good. We'll just leave that as incomplete in terms of whether it's up or down. All right. Second guesses are next. Tennessee decided to go for it. They went into the 2-minute offense at the end of the first half. Could have had points, didn't. But they left too much time for Georgia going the other way. Was that the right call, the wrong call? Should they have run the ball more? We'll discuss this in our second guessing segment. Come on back on the Sports Source.